You all know Wendy as Captain Wendy Morse. Right now, she is in charge of the Office of Public Life here in our city, and she wants to talk to you about a project that she's like to kick off. So, go Wendy.
Good morning, thanks. I'm really grateful to be here in this capacity talking to y'all. We're getting ready to kick off a project where we're going to highlight 25 crosswalks throughout the city. And we want to repaint them. We're going to go out to do a call for artists to come back to y'all with some designs, and we're going to highlight 25 of the city's crosswalks. So I'm going to be reaching out to all of your constituents citywide about that. Interestingly enough, we're doing an ADA street curb project around the schools, so that's going to be some of the areas that we're going to look to highlight. And I think maybe a crosswalk on Clematis, in keeping with the Gell study and trying to complete Clematis and some of the things like that. So I just wanted to come to you all first and let you know that I'll be checking in with your homeowners associations, and it's kind of a neat thing because in terms of mobility and the walkability studies, everybody can participate. So we're looking to do a project.
We're going to be reaching out to the neighborhood associations and asking them to identify some of the ones that they in their area that they would like to see this happen, and then as Wendy said, we'll do a call for artists. Tricia Moffett?
Yeah, I have a question about a crosswalk that I think is in dire need of this, and it's on a county road, Australian, but it's the crosswalk at 25th Street that crosses to Sullivan Park. Not Sullivan, I'm sorry, Sunset.
Sunset Park.
Sunset Park.
And you know, it's something that needs to be really.
It might be harder to do on a county road.
I know, but I mean that would be
a good place to do it. I agree.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I agree.
Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you. I mean, that was my question. What is the process to get an approval of a crosswalk that might not currently exist? And if there is a crosswalk
well, we're going to start with the ones that we can, I mean, just like we painted Fern and Cameron, we just can do it if they're on our road. So.
I was just curious because there are a couple of, even further south on Flagler, you know, there's nothing there for those guys to
if
cross.
the neighborhood wants it, I know some neighborhoods don't want anything.
Right.
They don't want bike lanes, they don't want art, they don't want anything. So if the neighborhood wants it, then...
And it's our road, we can do that, but if it's not, we have to go through something else.
I can address that, though, because it is a little more complicated. Certainly it gets very complicated when you talk about a DOT road, and they've made it clear that they don't want anything other than a very standardized look to their crosswalks, unfortunately. When we get to county roads, we think we have more flexibility. We're outreaching to the new county engineer. He seems to be very open to this type of activity. But one of the things I wanted to bring out is any time that we make improvements to these crosswalks or do that, we have to bring the road up to ADA, the sidewalk up to ADA standards. So there could be some restrictions as far as cost because of the cost associated with it. We're required to have to do that. So we're going to look for the right ones that we can do quickly, and then work from there. Some of these might be a little more costly. So.
Material?
Thank you, Scott. Don't go anywhere yet. Thank you. Lake Avenue, the Palmetto School. This is a cross. There is no crosswalk there. Really, I don't know if painting something there is going to address the safety issue. But two things. It might help. So two things I wanted to mention about that is I know we're doing other road construction already, but I can't find it when I push the button. I've gone through all the different funding sources to try to figure out where it is, and I've had people asking me at what point, where is it in the system, so if you could just let me know that. Sure. And then the other thing is for, I always want to say captain, I'm very glad that you're in this position because I think you have a different insight to safety and security and things like that than somebody who had just come out from the private sector into this, so thank you for your position. One of the things that I would like to ask you to do is please, I know you're going to work with Seville and they aren't in public places, but the quality of the materials that are being used in the finish, which they didn't do on this crosswalk. There's a finish that needs to be used so that it has some long-term life to it. And I know that she's got to look into that a little bit deeper to learn and understand, because painting on that material is hard to begin with, and then being able to have it have sustainability requires a special finish to it. And it also is a finish that is, what is the sun? That's, that has a UV inhibitor in it. So I just want to bring that up, because if you're going to put this effort into it, and I think it's a great idea, I want to make sure that it lasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I think that as we're going along, these things are getting more perfected in those ways, and Sibile's familiar with all of that.
Well, there are some professionals out there on a national scale that do this, and they have websites to tell you what they do, so
Yep.
she'll know.
Thank you. All right.